Okay, oftentimes there are few words to explain in a title and thumbnail how devastating a build actually is. So for those of you who clicked on this video, I appreciate it. And you're fortunate because this build is assuredly worth it. Emperor, a build that is a natural successor to the King duo which I created. A conundrum of sorts for any player or NPC to have to face. So this takes its place as the sovereign ruler of all skill builds now, multifaceted from DPS to skill damage and to survivability, everything you need for a complete build, certified in every form of content. Doesn't matter what you play. And I think that it's my duty to show you this because over the years, the Division 2 has evolved in so many ways. And if you've been here from the beginning, you know what I mean. It's Be Righteous from Identity. And I cover builds, guides, gameplay, and discussions. If you're interested in any of that, then don't hesitate to like the video and subscribe to my channel. This really helps my channel grow and expands its reach on YouTube. Plus, I'd love to have you here. Let's not waste any more time. Okay, now, the two previous builds, King and King Volume 2, both have Fox's Prayer and Contractor's Gloves added to its build. I basically took the meta DPS setup and flipped it to skill so that it could be even more powerful with skills alongside the DPS. But I wanted to try it another way. I tried it before, but it just wasn't enough for me. I think after the Brazos brand set came out was when it really made sense to me for a build like this to be viable. But I have dabbled with Empress International before, years ago. In fact, in this build, Seek and Destroy, utilizing the 3-piece Empress International with an explosive build. So I understand the power of skill efficiency. But this right here is on a completely new level. All right, good morning, fam. I literally did not think that this was possible to make the builds that I made before King. I made 2 versions of them. I didn't think that I can make a build stronger than that. But lo and behold, I did. And I was looking at some YouTube videos popping up and it reminded me of something that I tried to do before because I made the intentions to do this a long time ago because I dabbled with Empress International 3-piece a lot. I used it in a build called Seek and Destroy. It's like 2 years ago. And the 3-piece is very effective, especially when you're using it with things like the Memento backpack because skill efficiency is serious. And I can't get away from this. It's Oxidizer, man. The Oxidizer is just too strong. But I just wanted to show you how this is, and I show you how much of a breeze it is. And the capacitor, I usually run it with crit, right? Because I'm like, I know that skill tiers give you weapon damage. I know that, but let's push the needle even further by adding crit. So I would like max out the crit values to like almost 200% for crit damage and 60% crit chance. But this one I decided to fully commit, or almost fully commit, to that skill damage, man. Because when you dealing with skill damage with something like the Oxidizer, don't kill me. Yeah, when you're dealing with skill damage with something like the Oxidizer, it's just ridiculous, man. Like you can stack it on this chopper right here and kill them before they even come out. You know, this guy tried to take me out. He will not go anywhere. Thank you. The Rushers is coming. Sorry to wreck your day. Ooh, she almost took me out. I know those drone operators are low. because I hit him with the oxidizer in the chopper, so they gotta be low. Yep. Where's the other one? Yes, sir. Take him out. And you know what's also crazy about this right here is that when the chungas come, like in the next area, oh my god, that's crazy. But when the chungas come, like in the next area, right, there's like 3 or 4 of them. So one thing that Empress International does is grant you skill health. So so when I throw out that turret, man, that thing, it's so durable. It's crazy. It's ridiculously durable. You'll see like 3 or 4 chungas shooting at that thing, and its health will go down marginally. So you know, you'd have to imagine how much health do those turrets have. And when you have memento stacks, because you know memento increases everything that has to do with skill efficiency, right? And that's what this build is about. It's about skill efficiency mainly. And I'm gonna get my weapon damage, so I'm not worried about it. So so I can't even really calculate how much skill efficiency is on this build total. There's so much that the values are just so powerful. And normally when I'm playing a legendary, I gotta focus. I can't really talk that much, but I'm having no problems here. And there it is. The first area is done with. Now let me just collect these trophies and get it ready for the next area. See, so what I'm about to do for this area right here is switch to the turret. Because like I said, the chungas are about to come out. I'm going to place it in a strategic location so that they can't kick it and destroy it. Maxed out right now on trophies almost. And I have full stacks on my oxidizer. So we're about to go in here and rock their world. Let's put this in a nice area right here. Boom. Knock these out. And that's why I love the oxidizer so much, because no matter what, man, you're going to get that residual damage. Oh man, that's not a good spot. Let's knock this out. That's the problem with these areas. These healers, that's what prolongs them and makes them so annoying to fight. But you could just play carefree with the oxidizer. Now let me drop this turret in a good spot so that this guy always runs up here every time. He always tries to take me out. All good though. You can run back now. This is one of the reasons I want to rely on skill damage, because at the end of the day, that turret is going to melt. Alright, I think I gotta aggro. Oh, nope. Let's do it. Knock off these 𝐤𝐤𝐲𝐵s first. Now look how much damage the turret is not taking. With all of them shooting at him at the same time. That's insane. That's that skill health for you, baby. That's what I was talking about. You see how normally they have me push back to the door, right? Okay, now they aggroed on me, so I'm gonna have to just wait till I got what, 5 seconds left. Get another one. We already knocked one of the chunks out. Now they slowly walking towards me. Alright, boom, got another one. These chunks, see, that's the problem, that firepower. We need to get that firepower out of the way. There we go. You're done. Next. Oh my god, that's, see what I mean? when you commit to that skill damage along with the memento stacks, it feels like cheating. So, you know, solo becomes, I wouldn't say a breeze because you still got to pay attention, but it becomes pretty crazy. So I think after this area, I'm gonna go ahead and show you what the build is looking like. Right back in there like an idiot. And there's the second part done. Check it out. Okay, so we got a 3-piece Empress International. Now what that does is very essential what this does, okay? Skill health, skill damage, and skill efficiency. The perfect skill brand set. This came out recently, I think a couple patches ago. No, actually it came out a while ago, but the capacitor itself, it has critical hit chance, 10%, 11 rounds, and 30% crit hit damage. That's not bad, right? So this is basically a DPS skill hybrid weapon. And so it's going to give me enough crit that I need to help the skill damage in its own right. And plus, skill tiers give you, what, 7.5% damage when you use the capacitor. And so that's where my damage is coming from. Now let me show you the stats first so I could show you where we're sitting at. It's 47.6% crit chance, 75 crit damage. It's all good because if you're running with a group, you got people running Coyote's Mask, you got other buffs that's going on that will help you with the damage. But you saw the damage I was dealing, so it doesn't really matter about these crit values that you see here, okay? Because with the capacitor, you're also dealing armor damage, and this gives you the damage to armor values that are only on shotguns. So the capacitor is special. I'm not using the test subject, I'm not using the orbit or anything like that. It's because there's no reason to. You could put anything in the slot, honestly. But I'm using the mask, and what I rolled here is crit hit chance and skill damage. So I can get the crit chance values up as high as possible. Almost 50%, which is good enough for me. Some of them I couldn't get it on, like the knee pads. But the main attribute you want is skill damage. If you can't get crit chance, it's not a necessity as much as skill damage is. So if you see I got skill damage on all these pieces, and for the other 2 pieces I'm using 𝒉𝒊𝒄. 𝒉𝒊𝒄 2-piece is one of the greatest, man, because you got an extra skill tier for that. And this is why I'm able to have 1.3 million armor. I don't need to roll skill tiers everywhere on the build because I have 1 skill tier from Technician Specialization, 1 skill tier from the Memento Backpack, and 1 skill tier from the 2-piece 𝒉𝒊𝒄. And this is another source of damage that's allowing for me to create more DPS in the absence of the crit from capacitor. Glass Cannon. So it says all damage that you deal is amplified by 25%. Now you all know what Glass Cannon is about, so that's including weapon and skill damage, which is why the turret was melting so fast. The downside is that you take 50% amplified damage, but if you're at 1.3 million armor like me, which is easy to attain with this setup as I said, you can take a few more shots. And a lot of people don't really like Glass Cannon because they be like, they too squishy. I think that it boils down to your playstyle. It's all about how you play. One thing I do use is cover to cover, because when you use cover to cover, NPCs are less accurate while you're doing that. So there's a lot of different things you can implement to keep yourself alive when you have a setup like this. But as you can see, I wasn't able to get crit chance on here either, but I have skill damage. And the second to last piece, I have the Prakaris holster. Of course, you know I'm gonna rock this. This is a multifaceted piece of gear because you could roll it with crit, you could roll it with skill damage, you could roll it with whatever and still have that 15% weapon damage that you're going to deal, which is another accolade that's added to the damage that I'm dealing with the capacitor. So you do not need this to be critted out. But when you have skill damage and you're dealing all that weapon damage, you're a force to be reckoned with. I was breezing through this thing, man. Now the final piece is Memento Backpack. And when I started this legendary mission, I didn't have any stacks, and you saw how much damage it was dealing already. And with the Memento, you get short-term and long-term buffs. The maximum for the long-term buffs is 30 stacks. So you can get up to 60% skill efficiency, 60% skill damage, all of that with 1 short-term buff, and when your stacks are maxed out. And this is where you were seeing all that skill damage with the turret, and especially the oxidizer, which is the 2 skills that I'm using. Now I alternate between the turret and the drone depending on the situation, and I explained all that while I was playing. Personally, I like the drone more than the turret, just because it's more versatile. You can hit enemies from a distance when they're, you know how they do in legendary missions, they camping behind walls all day. This gets them out of there. And then with the oxidizer, The damage is just ridiculously strong, as you can see. Armor just melts, and it deals corrosive gas damage to enemy armor specifically. Skill proxies and causes damage over time. And when it says skill proxies, if you didn't know, the technician specialization deals extra damage to robotics and skill proxies. So you can't lose with this build, man. Ever since technician specialization came out, I was hooked, because this was even before Gear 2.0. It's when my hybrid journey actually really began, because there wasn't really anything before that allowed me to really dive into that hybrid mentality. You could make hybrid builds, but it seems like technician specialization was made for that playstyle. I mean, even in the days of Div 1, they had tactician, where you could do tactician and banshee hybrids with tactician and nomad. You can make hybrids with everything. And so when this came out, it was like a dream. Let me know what you think of this down below in the comments. I'm loving it. As you can see, I breezed through these first areas in this legendary with no problem at all. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy videos like this. I appreciate it. You know, it helps my channel's reach and growth on YouTube. So with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one. Be right out.